your English podcast.
Hello, everyone, and a huge warm welcome back to your English podcast.
It is so good to be here.
It is fantastic to have you with us today. The energy is high, the coffee is brewed. I've actually had 2 cups, so if I'm talking fast, you know why. And we are ready to dive into something that I think every single person listening has felt at some point. My name is Alex.
And my name is Nina. It's so good to be here with you all. And, you're right. Today's topic is, well, it's the big one.
It really is.
It's the elephant in the room. It's that invisible wall that stops so many people from actually using the English they've spent years, maybe decades, learning.
Exactly. We aren't talking about irregular verbs today. We aren't going to sit here and lecture you on the difference between the present perfect and the past simple.
Thank goodness.
Or why phrasal verbs are a nightmare. Though, let's be honest, they kind of are. We are talking about the hurdle, the mental block.
The fear factor.
That's the one. The anxiety, the nervousness, the sweaty palms you get when you actually have to open your mouth and speak English to another human being.
It is such a common paradox, isn't it? We see this all the time in the language learning community.
All the time.
You can have a student who reads perfectly. They can pick up a complex novel and really understand the nuance.
Yeah.
They can listen to a podcast like this and understand 90, maybe 95% of it. They know the vocabulary. They have the database in their head.
Right. The knowledge is there.
It's all there. But the moment they have to say a single sentence to another person...
Silence.
Yeah.
Total freeze.
Yeah.
It feels impossible.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the connection between the brain and the mouth is just... It's just severed. And that is exactly what we are here to dismantle today.
Absolutely. Our mission today, our whole goal, is to help you break that fear of making mistakes.
Yes.
We want to help you stop studying English like it's a biology textbook or a math problem to be solved and start living in it.
I love that phrase, living in it.
We want to move you from being a passive observer to an active participant.
Living versus studying. I love that distinction because they are 2 completely different psychological states, aren't they?
Totally different.
So let's unpack this. Let's start right at the beginning with what we're calling section 1, deconstructing the fear of mistakes.
Yeah.
Because this is personal for me. This isn't just theory.
Is it? You seem so confident now.
Oh, completely.
Yeah.
But it wasn't always this way. Not at all. I remember when I first started learning a second language years ago, I had been studying for months. I was diligent.
You had the flashcards.
I had the flashcards. I had the apps. I knew the words for bread, train, station, ticket, all the tourist essentials. I felt ready. Intellectually, I was ready.
Okay.
And then I went to the country, walked up to a ticket counter in a really busy train station.
Yeah.
Nothing.
The freeze.
The absolute freeze. I was paralyzed. And paralyzed is such a strong word, but it's accurate.
Yeah.
It felt physical.
Paralyzed is the right word. It's a physiological response. It's not just in your head.
It really felt like my throat actually closed up. I was so terrified that I would use the wrong conjugation or that I'd sound stupid or that the person behind the counter would look at me with that confused expression. You know the one.
Oh, I know the one. The furrowed brow, the slight head tilt.
Yes. That one. I was so scared of that reaction that I just didn't speak. I pointed. I ended up acting out what I wanted, like a game of charades.
Oh, no.
I felt like a child.
Yeah.
I felt stripped of my intelligence. It was humiliating.
That is such a classic physical reaction to psychological pressure. I've felt it too. And what's fascinating is that the body doesn't distinguish between a physical threat, like a tiger jumping out of the bushes, and a social threat, like making a grammar mistake.
Really? It's the same mechanism. That seems wild.
It's the amygdala. It's the fight, flight, or freeze response.
Yeah.
When you stood at that counter, your brain perceived a threat.
A threat to my grammar.
Not just your grammar, a threat of embarrassment, of judgment, of losing status. So it dumped cortisol and adrenaline into your system. That pressure you feel inside your chest, that's your heart beating faster to pump blood to your legs so you can run away.
Even though I just wanted to buy a train ticket, my body was preparing me to sprint out of the station.
Exactly. Your biology was screaming, run! And when you have that much stress hormone in your brain, the language centers actually start to shut down. The prefrontal cortex, where you process logic and grammar, it gets cloudy.
That explains the heat rising in my neck, the blushing.
Yeah.
It's biological sabotage.
It is. And what we need to understand, what I really want everyone listening to hear right now, is that the barrier isn't your vocabulary. It isn't your grammar knowledge. You probably know enough to communicate.
Right.
The barrier is this biological and psychological fear of error.
It's the fear of judgment. We think everyone is watching us, listening to every word.
Precisely. It's a well-known psychological bias called the spotlight effect. We think we are the center of the universe and everyone is critiquing our syntax.
But they're not.
They're not. The truth is, the ticket seller just wants to sell the ticket. They don't care about your past participle. They just want to get to their lunch break.
So, okay, if the root cause is psychological, then the solution has to be psychological too.
Yes.
We have to accept a hard truth if we want to move forward. Mistakes are not failures.
I want to frame this even more strongly. Mistakes are not just not failures. Mistakes are data.
Data. I like that. Unpack that a bit for me.
Think about how a machine learning algorithm works, or even simpler, how a baby learns to walk.
Okay.
A baby doesn't learn to walk by reading a book about gravity and physics. They stand up, they wobble, and they fall over. A lot.
Right. Over and over again.
And that fall sends data to the brain. Okay, leaning that far left didn't work. Let's adjust the center of gravity. Each fall is a critical piece of information.
So every time you mess up a sentence, it's just a signal.
Exactly. It's feedback. If you never make a mistake, you aren't pushing the boundaries of what you know. You're just staying in the safe zone, which means you aren't really learning.
That's a huge point.
You cannot learn to ride a bike without wobbling, and you cannot learn to speak a language without butchering a few sentences. It's part of the process.
It's actually valuable experience then.
Yeah.
It's necessary friction.
It is essential. If you are silent, you get zero feedback. You're just operating in a vacuum. You learn nothing.
So we need to shift the mindset. This is the first big takeaway for everyone listening. We have to stop telling ourselves these negative narratives. You know the ones I mean.
Oh, I hear them all the time.
Can't speak English, or English is too hard, or I sound silly.
Those thoughts become self-fulfilling prophecies. It's incredible how powerful they are. If you tell yourself English is hard, your brain, specifically a part called the reticular activating system, which filters information, will actually look for evidence to prove you right.
So you'll only notice the hard parts.
You'll notice every difficult word, and you'll completely ignore the thousands of words you actually know. We need a cognitive shift, a conscious one.
What do you suggest? How do we actually practically rewire that?
Positive affirmation. Now, I know. It sounds simple, maybe even a little cheesy.
A little bit, ooh, maybe.
A little bit, yeah. People roll their eyes at affirmations, but it works because it interrupts the negative loop. It's a pattern interrupt.
So instead of I can't,
Right.
What should we be saying to ourselves?
Replace I can't with something like English is doable. Or even better, my favorite one is English is easy.
English is easy. I like that. But what if it feels like a lie at first?
Especially if it feels like a lie at first, you have to convince your subconscious you are hacking your own operating system.
I see.
And you have to view errors as steps to mastery. Every single mistake is a stepping stone on the path. When you change how you view the error, you change the physical reaction.
How so?
Instead of that shot of adrenaline and panic, you feel curiosity. Oh, I said that wrong. Interesting. How do I say it right?
That takes the pressure off immediately. It turns it into a game rather than a test.
Right.
It moves us from a judgment mindset to a growth mindset.
Precisely. And speaking of pressure and growth, yeah,
I think this connects to something we often ask our listeners to do, doesn't it?
it really does. Listen, to everyone tuning in right now, do you feel that pressure we just described? Do you recognize that tightness in your chest or that fear of the freeze?
Hmm.
If you want to learn how to beat it, and if you want practical tips on how to become fluent, not just in your head, but out in the real world, make sure to subscribe to our channel.
Yes, please hit that subscribe button. It really helps us keep making these deep dives, and it ensures you don't miss our future tips. We have so much more to cover on how to hack your brain for language learning.
All right, let's move on to section 2. We've talked about the internal mindset, the psychology. Now let's talk about the external environment. Let's talk about immersion.
This is where we move from studying to living. And this is where I usually hear the most excuses.
Oh, the excuses. I can't immerse myself because I don't live in London. I don't live in New York.
I live in a small town in Brazil or Italy or Japan where nobody speaks English.
Right. And look, that is a valid challenge. I'm not dismissing the difficulty of geography. But in the 21st century, it is not an excuse anymore.
Not at all.
You don't need to be in an English-speaking country to immerse yourself. The internet has dissolved borders. You need to create an environment right where you are, in your own home, where English is a habit, not a subject.
Right. It should be something you do for 1 hour on Tuesday nights with a textbook and a tired teacher. That's not immersion.
No, that's studying. That's painful. It's artificial. Living
Yeah.
in English means weaving it into your existence. It means it's around you when you wake up, when you eat, when you relax.
It's about increasing the input volume. Right.
That's a great way to put it, turning up the volume of English in your life.
So let's get practical. How do we do that? One of my favorite tips, and it drives people crazy at first, which is how you know it works, is digital immersion.
Oh, changing the language settings.
Yes, change the language settings on your phone, your tablet, your laptop, everything to English.
That is a bold move. It sounds small, but it completely changes your relationship with the device you use hundreds of times a day.
It is huge. Suddenly your calendar is calendar. Okay, that's
Yeah.
an easy one. But settings is settings, notes is notes, brightness, wallpaper, notifications. You start learning all this navigation vocabulary without even trying.
But what about the frustration? I've had students tell me they changed it back after 2 hours because they couldn't find the calculator app.
That frustration is the point. When you are frustrated, your brain is engaged, it's active. You are solving a problem in English.
Hmm.
You aren't translating, you are navigating. That frustration forces your brain to adapt. It's what we call forced output.
Mm.
You have no choice but to understand the word to achieve your goal.
It forces you to engage with the language to survive your digital life. That's powerful. And I'd add to that, consume content without crutches.
You mean subtitles?
I mean translation, mainly. Or subtitles in your own language. If you watch a movie, watch it in English. If you can handle it, with English subtitles. If you listen to a podcast like your English podcast right now, don't try to translate every single word in your head. Just let it wash over you.
It's about getting used to the flow, isn't it? Not catching every single raindrop, but just getting wet.
Exactly. And here is a habit I developed when I was learning a third language that is a little funny, but I swear by it. Talking to yourself.
I do this too. My neighbors probably think I'm losing it.
Let them think that. Honestly, I think everyone should do this. I'm talking about narrating your life out loud.
Give me an example.
You're in the kitchen making coffee. Say it out loud.
Right.
Okay, I am taking the cup. I am pouring the water. The water is hot. Where is the sugar?
People might look at you like you're crazy if you do this on the bus, but at home, it's fair game.
Totally. But why does this work? It's not just about practicing vocabulary. There's a deeper psychological benefit here.
It's about the sound, right? Getting over the cringe factor of your own voice.
Yes. It helps your brain get used to the sound of your own voice speaking English. A lot of the fear we talked about earlier comes from the fact that we sound different in a second language.
That's so true.
Our voice is lower or higher, or the resonance is different. It feels alien. It doesn't sound like us.
That is such a good point. I've noticed that. When I speak another language, my pitch drops slightly. I sound like a different person to myself.
Right. And if the first time you hear that new person speak is in a high-stakes meeting or a job interview, you're going to freak out because you don't recognize yourself. It creates cognitive dissonance.
But if you've been talking to yourself about coffee and sugar for 3 weeks,
you're used to that voice. That's your English voice. It's normal.
It reduces the shock factor. It normalizes the act of speaking. You're essentially desensitizing yourself to your own accent and your own English voice.
Exactly. You are making the strange familiar.
I love that. Okay, moving into section 3. We're talking about making the environment English friendly. You have a specific strategy that takes this digital immersion concept into the physical world. The post-it method, or what you call the labeling strategy.
Yes. This is great for visual learners, but really for anyone. It's very tactile, very physical. You take a stack of sticky notes or labels and you sign every object in your house in English.
Every object. Seriously.
Within reason. Don't label the cat. But yes, put a label on the fridge that says fridge, put one on the mirror that says mirror, table, window, laptop, kettle, shelf, drawer.
So your house looks like a dictionary exploded inside it.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
It looks like a conceptual art installation. But here is the key, and this is where most people fail with this method. It is not enough to just stick the label there and ignore it.
Right, because it just becomes wallpaper. Your brain learns to ignore it after a day.
Exactly. It becomes invisible. We need active interaction.
So what do you do?
Every time you walk past the object, you have to read the word aloud.
Aloud, okay? That's the key.
You walk into the kitchen. You see the fridge. You say fridge. You walk into the living room. You see the table. You say table. Maybe you even touch the table as you say it.
Why is the aloud and the touching part so important? What does that do?
Because you are creating a multisensory connection. You have the visual object, the actual fridge. You have the written word, the label. You have the spoken sound from your own mouth, which is auditory memory. And you have the physical touch, the kinesthetic link. You are triangulating the memory.
That makes so much sense. It anchors the vocabulary much deeper than just reading a list in a book. It attaches the English word to the physical reality of your life.
And it turns your home into a learning playground. It's creative. It reminds you constantly that you are a learner. It's fun, not boring study.
I can imagine it getting competitive if you live with someone else. Who can label the most obscure things? Spatula, baseboard, crown molding.
Advanced labeling. But yeah, start simple. And eventually you take the labels down because you don't need them anymore. You look at the fridge and the word fridge just pops into your head automatically.
That's the goal right there. Okay, let's get into the deep water now. Section 4. This is the one that I think kills confidence faster than anything else. I'm talking about the grammar trap.
Oh, the grammar trap. This is the enemy of fluency. It truly is.
We have this tendency, especially as adults, to want to be perfect. We value precision. We are used to being competent and articulate in our native language.
Yeah, for sure.
So when we switch to English, we stay silent because we aren't sure if we should use in, at, or on.
Or we're stuck worrying about the perfect tense versus the past simple. Did I go? Or have I gone? Or I went? And while you are debating that in your head, running through the conjugation tables you memorized in high school.
The conversation has moved on. The moment is gone.
Exactly. You're still
And
stuck in the past tense and everyone else is already talking about the future.
it's so frustrating.
Listeners, please, please hear this. Perfectionism is the enemy of communication.
Communication is the goal. Not passing a test. Not getting a gold star from a teacher. The goal is to be understood.
Right. If you say, I go to store yesterday, is it grammatically correct? No. It hurts my ears a tiny bit, sure, but did I understand you?
Yes, 100%.
I know you went to the store, and I know it was yesterday. Mission accomplished. Communication happened.
I used to do this thing, I call it lazy correction, or maybe preemptive correction. I would construct a sentence in my head, then I'd stop and try to correct it like a teacher grading my own paper before I even let it out of my mouth.
And how did that work for your flow, your conversational rhythm?
It destroyed it. I sounded like a robot, a broken robot. I was pausing every 2 words. And it was exhausting. I would get a headache after 5 minutes of conversation because of the mental effort.
It creates so much cognitive load. You are doing double the work. You are the speaker and the editor at the same time. My advice,
Yeah.
fire the editor.
Fire the editor. I like that.
Just say it, even if you know it's wrong, even if you can feel the mistake leaving your lips. Just say it. Get it out.
But wait, I have to play devil's advocate here. If I just say it wrong all the time, am I not reinforcing bad habits? Aren't I afraid of fossilizing these mistakes,
Maybe
making them permanent?
that is the common fear. And yes, fossilization is a real thing in linguistics, but the risk of silence is far, far greater than the risk of bad grammar. If you are silent, you get zero feedback. Nothing happens. If you say, I go to store yesterday, maybe the person you're talking to replies, oh, you went to the store, what did you buy? And boom, you just got a correction naturally in context.
That's a really helpful shift in perspective. You're not failing by using the wrong tense. You're basically soliciting data to fix it later.
Exactly. It is better to speak with errors than to be silent with perfect grammar locked inside your head.
That is the quote of the episode right there.
Yeah.
Better to speak with errors than be silent with perfection.
So how do we actually learn grammar then, if we aren't obsessing over rules in textbooks?
Right, because we do want to speak correctly eventually. That's the end goal.
You learn it the way a child learns.
Yeah.
Through massive amounts of exposure. You listen to native speakers. You imitate them. Eventually, the correct grammar just feels right.
It becomes intuitive,
You don't know why it's right, you just know it sounds correct because you've heard it that way 1,000 times.
it becomes a feeling, not a calculation.
Yes. You bypass the rule book and go straight to the pattern matching part of the brain, which is so much more efficient.
Which leads us perfectly into section 5. The mechanism that keeps us trapped in those grammar rules is often what we can call the internal translator.
The internal translator is that little voice in your head that takes your native thought, runs it through a dictionary, scrambles the grammar to try and fit English rules, and then attempts to output it.
And it is so slow.
It is incredibly slow. It creates a massive lag, a delay.
It's like streaming a 4K video on a dial-up connection from the 1990s.
Yeah.
You're just buffering constantly.
Mhm. Yes, you are buffering. And that lag increases your anxiety because you see the other person waiting for you to speak. You see their eyes drift away a little.
Which makes you panic more.
Exactly. Which makes the translator break down even more. It's a vicious cycle.
So how do we fire the internal translator? How do we stop translating and actually start thinking in English? Because that sounds like magic. Just think in English. It's so easy to say, but so hard to do.
You have to start small. You can't expect to debate philosophy or politics in English immediately without translating. You have to build the muscle. You start with simple thoughts directly in English.
Give us an example. Walk us through the process.
Okay. Think about the connection in your brain. Usually you see an object, say a tree, your brain goes, visual tree, native word for tree, English word tree, that's triangle.
Right.
We want a straight line. Visual tree, English word tree.
So we cut out the middleman.
Yes. The middleman is slowing you down. So when you wake up in the morning, instead of thinking your first thought in your native language and then translating it, force the English thought. Think directly. Good morning. It is a beautiful day.
Just that. That simple.
Just that. Don't formulate complex sentences. Keep it simple and achievable.
I like the idea of narrating your walk, too. We touched on this with the self-talk, like, I see a tree, the car is red, that dog is big.
Yes, it sounds primal. It sounds like you're a toddler learning to speak. But you are building the direct link between the concept, the real world thing you see, and the English word for it, cutting out the middleman of your native language.
You are literally wiring your brain. You are forging a new neural pathway.
Exactly. And neural pathways are like trails in a forest. The first time you walk it, the grass is high and it's hard work. But if you walk it every single day, it becomes a path, then a road, then a highway.
And eventually the native language step just disappears. You see the tree and the word tree appears. No translation needed.
That is fluency. Fluency isn't knowing every word in the dictionary. Fluency is the absence of translation.
That's a powerful definition. Hey, speaking of building pathways, if you're out there finding these psychological tips helpful, and you want to build a super highway to fluency,
I see what you did there.
hit that subscribe button right now. We have plenty more deep dives coming up on how to hack your brain for learning.
Yes, join us. We love this community and we really want to help you grow.
Okay, section 6, we've talked about the mind. Let's talk about the mouth, the physical instrument itself, pronunciation, rhythm, and flow.
This is where the music of the language comes in. And English has a very specific music. It has ups and downs, stress, and rhythm. It's not a flat, monotone line.
Right. Some languages are syllable timed, like machine gun fire, rat-a-tat-tat. Every syllable gets equal time. But English is stress timed. It's more like a heartbeat, dat-dat-dat-dat-day. Some syllables are long and strong, others are short and weak.
Exactly. And sometimes you can say all the right words, but if the music is wrong, people won't understand you.
That's so frustrating for learners. They say the word correctly. The pronunciation of each sound is perfect, but the stress is on the wrong syllable, and the native speaker just stares at them blankly.
It's like singing a familiar song with the wrong melody. It's unrecognizable. So how do we practice the music?
My absolute favorite technique for this is shadowing.
Shadowing. Explain that for our listeners who might not have heard of it.
It's imitation, but immediate.
Yeah.
You listen to a native speaker, maybe on a podcast, maybe in a movie, and you repeat what they say immediately after them. You don't wait for the sentence to end. You try to speak at the same time. You shadow them.
So you're overlapping with them.
Almost. You're like their shadow, just a fraction of a second behind. And you try to mimic their speed, their emotion, their pauses, their pitch going up and down. You aren't just reading the words. You are copying the entire sound wave.
You're acting.
You are acting. You are trying to become them for a second. You adopt their vocal persona.
That's really effective because it engages mirror neurons in the brain. And I know another one that people hate, but it works so well, the recording technique.
Oh, the dreaded recording. Everyone hates this one.
It's painful, isn't it? Listening to your own voice recorded, it makes everyone cringe. We all have that reaction. Do I really sound like that?
But why is it recommended? Why should we put ourselves through that torture?
Because when we speak, we hear what we think we are saying. We hear our intention. When we listen to a recording, we hear what we actually said. We hear the reality.
Oh.
You might think you are pronouncing the F's sound perfectly, but the recording reveals you are actually saying Z or D.
It's objective feedback. The microphone doesn't lie.
Exactly. You can record yourself saying a sentence, then listen to a native speaker saying the same sentence and compare them. It reveals mistakes you don't hear in the moment because your brain is too busy formulating the next sentence.
It's the fastest way to self-correct, I bet.
For sure. And what about speed? I feel like learners try to speak fast because they think fast equals fluent. That is a huge misconception. Fast does not equal fluent. Fast often just equals messy or unintelligible.
Slow down.
Slow down. Speak slowly and clearly. Don't rush. Think about great speakers like Barack Obama. He speaks quite slowly. No one thinks he isn't fluent.
That's a great example. He uses pauses for effect. He takes his time.
I like the exercise of practicing a phrase slowly, like in super slow motion, really exaggerating the mouth movements and then gradually speeding it up to a normal pace.
To build muscle memory in your mouth.
Yes. Your tongue is a muscle. Your lips are muscles. They need to learn the choreography of the word. If you try to dance fast before you know the steps, you'll just trip over your own feet.
The choreography of the word. I love that. Okay, section 7. We have all these fantastic tips, labeling, shadowing, narrating. But how do we fit it all into a busy life? We have jobs, kids, school. I don't have time is the #1 reason people quit.
This is where my favorite principle comes in, the 15-minute rule.
Tell me about the 15-minute rule.
Consistency is more important than intensity. It is so much better to practice for 15 minutes every single day than to cram for 5 hours once a week on Sunday.
5 hours once a week is a recipe for burnout, and you forget everything by Wednesday anyway.
Exactly. The brain needs spaced repetition. It needs to be reminded daily that, hey, this English thing is important. So here is a hypothetical daily plan for our listeners. It takes about 15 minutes total, broken up through the day.
Okay, walk us through it. Prove to us it's possible. Let's start with the morning.
Morning. While you are brushing your teeth or making coffee, you don't need extra time. You just layer it on top of your existing routine. Name everything you see. Toothbrush, mirror, faucet, coffee, spoon. That takes, what, 2 minutes?
Easy. You're awake anyway. You might as well. What about during the day?
During the day, you utilize the dead time. You're walking to the subway, you're waiting in line at the grocery store. Formulate simple sentences in your head about what you are doing. Think. I'm going to work. I'm walking fast. The line is long. Just a few times a day.
And the evening.
Evening is for review. Before you go to sleep, tell a short story. It can be to yourself, to your partner, even to your cat. Tell the story of your day.
Like, today I went to the park. I had a sandwich for lunch. It was good. That's simple.
Exactly. Simple narratives. Today I met an old friend. It forces you to use the past tense. It forces you to recall the vocabulary of your own actual life, not from a textbook.
And that's it. That's the whole plan.
That's it. If you do that every day, those small, consistent practices destroy the fear barrier. It becomes normal. It becomes part of who you are.
I love how manageable that is. It removes the excuse of, I don't have time. Everyone has time to think toothbrush while brushing their teeth.
Exactly. It's not about having time. It's about making space in your mind.
Finally, Section 8. Real-world application and confidence. Because eventually you have to leave the house. You have to talk to people who aren't your cat.
You have to get out of the comfort zone. The comfort zone is a beautiful place, but nothing ever grows there.
This is the scary part. This is the rubber meeting the road.
It is. But you need to find real conversations, whether it's with friends who speak English, or joining an online group, or even talking to strangers. Go to a cafe where they speak English. Join a Discord server about a hobby you have.
It forces the brain to react quickly, right?
Yeah.
It's not a drill anymore.
Yes. A real conversation is unpredictable. You don't know what they will say back. That unpredictability is the ultimate training. It sharpens your reflexes like nothing else.
And what about confidence? People always say, I'll speak when I'm more confident, or I'm just not confident enough yet.
No. That is completely backward. That is the wrong equation. You don't get confident before you do it.
You get confident by doing it.
Confidence is the result of surviving the risk. It's the reward you get after you've been brave.
Fake it till you make it.
Absolutely. Act confident. Stand tall. Look people in the eye when you speak. Your body language will actually trick your brain into feeling more confident.
Don't wait to be perfect to be confident. Be confident in your ability to learn. Be confident that you are trying, and that's enough.
Let's role play a scenario right now just to show how low stakes this can be. Let's say I walk into a cafe.
Okay. You're the customer. I'm the barista.
Good morning. How are you today?
I'm doing well, thank you. And you?
I'm great. Can I have a coffee, please?
Sure thing. Here you go.
See? That's it. That is a success. You communicated. You survived. The world didn't end. No one laughed at you.
And you walk away with a coffee and a little hit of dopamine because you did it.
Yeah.
You have a win under your belt.
Exactly. And every small win builds the foundation for the next big win. Today, a coffee. Tomorrow, a job interview. Next year, a business meeting.
This has been such an inspiring discussion. I feel motivated, and I already speak the language. I feel like I want to go learn Spanish now using these tips.
Do it. Use these techniques. It works for any language.
Let's wrap this up with a quick summary for our listeners. We've covered a lot of ground today.
Okay, the journey we discussed today. English isn't hard. Fear is just a feeling, and feelings can be changed. It's biology, but you can hack it. Mistakes are your friends. They are your teachers. They are data points for improvement.
And the practical tools. Label your home. Talk to yourself like a crazy person. Embrace the crazy. It works. Stop translating and start thinking directly. Shadow native speakers to learn the music and just give us 15 minutes a day.
That's all it takes. Remember, knowing English opens huge doors. Travel, career, connection, culture. It is worth the discomfort. It is worth the sweaty palms.
Never give up. Every broken sentence is a step toward fluency. Every time you stumble, you're moving forward.
Absolutely. And we want to hear from you. Comment on our channel. Tell us your struggles. Tell us your successes. Did you label your fridge? Let us know. We are always here to support you.
We really are a community. Thank you so much for listening to your English podcast today. We appreciate you spending your time with us.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.